Hello Year 1 and welcome to our English. We're going to do something a little bit different this week. We're going to start off by looking at the front cover of our book, but we're not actually going to read the book until next week. We're going to do a little bit of work around the book this week, then we'll read it next week. But what I'd like to do today is to get you to think about predicting. Can you make a prediction? So let's have a look first at getting our reading brains in gear. That's about understanding different parts of our reading. Because prediction is one of those things we use in our reading, but we also use it in our English. So we've got our vipers here. Now you might not have done a lot of vipers, but this is just a way for us to ask lots of different questions about reading, or in this case, about a picture. So you don't have to be able to read anything to be able to do these jobs, because you can find out all this information from the picture. So I'll work steadily through it. I'll read it to you and give you a bit of chance for you to pause the video and answer the questions. You don't have to write them down, just tell somebody near you, okay? So the first one is a V for vocabulary. And it says, can you think of a word that means the opposite of lost? Now we've got that picture there that says lost and found office. So can you think of a word that means the opposite of lost? Pause the video, come back when you're done. The next one is an I for inference. So that's where we're being detectives. We're looking for some clues that might help us answer the question. The question says, why is the man shaking his head? So you have a little think if there's any clues in that picture as to why the man might be shaking his head. Pause the video and tell somebody next to you. The next one is a P for prediction, which is the thing that we're going to work on today. But here's a little starter for you. What will happen next? Now, prediction is all about what you think will happen next. So what do you think would happen after this picture? Pause the video and tell somebody near you. Next one is E, explain. So explain why the boy has taken the penguin to the lost and found office. Again, you can only use the clues you've got on the screen for me. So you just have to come up with a reason you think why the boy might have taken the penguin to the lost and found office. Doesn't matter if you're right, doesn't matter if you're wrong, it's just about you having a think. Pause the video and tell somebody near you. The next one is R for retrieve. Now this is one that you should be able to just get the fact straight from the writing or from the picture. So it says, what colours are on the little boy's shirt? So you should be able to answer that one nice and quickly. So pause the video, tell somebody near you. And the last one says S for sequence. That means putting things in the right order. So, what did the boy ask before the man started shaking his head? So we know the man's shaking his head, but what do you think that the boy has asked that has made the man shake his head? So now we've answered some of those questions, we're going to look at the prediction side of things, which is the main thing we're going to look at today. So when we're predicting, we've got 4 things that we try to do. We use clues from the writing, we use clues from the pictures, we use ideas that we already have about what the book might be about, the topic of the book, and we use sentences to write a prediction. So we think about full sentences, capital letters, full stops and finger spaces, to write what we think about our prediction. And predicting is about guessing what might happen. But because we're using the clues, which we've just said, is about us having a guess that is about right. So not something that is just completely off the top of our head. We have to have something that is about right. So let's have a look at that. This is the front cover of a book, and on these pictures it's also got the back cover. And you'll find a little picture like this in your pack with a few lines underneath where you're going to write your prediction, because I want to know what you think is going to happen in this book. Now the first one we're looking at is using clues from the writing. Well, it says lost and found. You can just make out at the bottom there Oliver Jeffers, and on the back it says once there was a boy and one day he found a penguin at his door. So we can make a prediction or a guess of what's going to happen in this book based on that writing. So we've got lost and found, and we've got a boy and one day he found a penguin at his door. So you've got to think now, what do you think might happen just by looking at the words? Pause the video, have a think, and then come back. Now, the next bit says use clues from the pictures. So you've had to think about what you might know about the boy finding a penguin at his door and what lost and found might mean. But now there's a little bit more information from the pictures. What's the boy doing? What's the penguin doing? Where are they? Does that add a little bit more information to what you think might happen in the book? Pause the video here and have a little think and then come back. Next, we're using clues from what you already know about the topic of the book, so what's happening in the book. Now, you might know something already about penguins. Do you know anything about penguins? Would that help with what might happen in the book? Can you tell what that other thing is on the front? I can see something like a shape, a white shape. What could that be? But you might know that because you know something about penguins. Or you might know something about this lost and found business. So whatever you might know, use that to help you to predict. So we could have 3 sentences so far. And here it says we're going to use those sentences to write a prediction. So we could say, I predict that there will be somebody lost in this book because it is called Lost and Found. That's me using the writing to tell somebody what I think is going to happen in the book. I might say, I predict that the boy and the penguin will, I think they might be standing in an umbrella. Because that tells me something from the picture. The next sentence I might use might be something I already know. So it might be, I predict that this story will happen somewhere cold because I know penguins like the cold. So I've thought about what I think, I've given the idea, and then I've said because using either the words on the page, the picture on the page, or something I already know about those penguins and the boy. See if you can do that today. Write me 3 sentences, or you can tell an adult and they can write it for you, but I want some ideas of sentences. And most of you now are able to write those simple sentences. Try and use the word because now as well. And I look forward to seeing what you think is going to happen in this story.